Hey Ober Sports, Jacob over here. In this video I'm going to talk a little bit about the Green Bay Packers quarterback situation going forward and what I think they should do with it going forward. Now, in this video I'm going to list off a few names that the Packers should consider signing or replacing Brett Hundley in the coming weeks. Obviously I'm going to start with the guy currently on the roster, Joe Callahan. And the thing with Joe Callahan, I know a lot of people have been talking about how Joe Callahan should come in and replace Hundley, but Joe Callahan has not had any meaningful NFL experience whatsoever. And this is a guy coming out of a D3 college. And he's just never come close to experiencing the NFL level other than preseason, where he's going against third-string players. He did look good in the preseason a couple years ago. He didn't get much time this season. He's a better pocket passer than Hundley, but really, I mean, the level of Joe Callahan's about as inexperienced of an NFL quarterback as you can have, and Brett Hundley's biggest issue right now is his lack of experience because he's making so many rookie mistakes. I don't think that Joe Callahan would be much better. It's really hard to say, but I don't think that he would be, just because, I mean, the lack of experience there it's not much. Hundley has far more experience than Joe Callahan, and I mean, lack of experience is the big reason why the Packers aren't getting much success out of the quarterback position right now. So to downgrade that area is not something I would be in line with. But anyways, here are my three quarterbacks I think the Packers should sign, and I'm going to get the obvious one out of the way here. I think the Packers should seriously consider signing Colin Kaepernick. And whether or not you agree or not with his protests or anything like that, I think that the Packers should evaluate this from a pure talent standpoint. Colin Kaepernick completed 59.8% of his passes in his career. He's thrown for 12,271 yards, and he has a 72 to 30 touchdown to interception ratio. Those are starter caliber numbers, or at least high-end backup numbers. And remember, Colin Kaepernick has been to the playoffs multiple times. He's been to a Super Bowl with the 49ers in his first NFL season. He's more of a scrambler than a pocket passer, which is something that the Packers, they'd probably be better off with a pocket passer, but I mean, Colin Kaepernick's talent level he's so much more experienced than Brett Hundley. He's a lot more mobile than Brett Hundley, and while he's not a pocket passer, he's definitely an upgrade over Brett Hundley's pocket awareness for sure. I really think that the Packers should at least give it some consideration, because I mean he's a very talented player, a very talented quarterback, and I think that he could definitely help the Packers. The only thing is that he might not fit into the system very well, but Brett Hundley's showing that he doesn't fit into this Packer system at all. He's all over the place, so definitely would be an upgrade over Brett Hundley. Now, the second quarterback I'm going to mention is Matt McGloin. Matt McGloin completed 58% of his passes in his career for 1,868 yards in his career, 11 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. He's a pro-style pocket passer, which serves Green Bay pretty well. That's usually what they base their offense around, a more pocket-oriented passer. He was a serviceable backup for the Raiders, not a spectacular player, but a guy who could hold down the fort for Green Bay and win them a couple games, which is what they desperately need right now. I really think that his pro style, he played at Penn State, and I think that it would fit in pretty nicely with McCarthy's offense. So he's definitely a guy the Packers should consider, somebody that I would be very happy if the Packers signed. And the last guy I'm going to talk about, Matt Flynn. And I'm sure a lot of Packer fans remember Matt Flynn, former Green Bay backup quarterback, seen as a hero in Green Bay because of what he did in the 2013 season. Rallied the Packers to a couple of wins and kept them alive in the postseason race, allowing Aaron Rodgers to finish off the Bears in a bona fide NFC North Division championship that year. So Matt Flynn has completed 61.3% of his passes for 2,541 yards and 17 touchdowns to 11 interceptions in his career. This Packers offense has not really changed since 2013, which isn't necessarily a good thing. But so he would know offense pretty well. The offense is pretty similar to what it was back then. He's a good guy to have on the team. He's got the experience. If you remember in Dallas in 2013, he led that 23-point comeback. So he's not a really flashy player. He doesn't have a lot of arm strength, but he's a pretty good serviceable quarterback, a pretty good backup that you'd want on your team. One of the better backups in the NFL over the past few years. He's a free agent now, so he's not currently on an NFL team, but I think that he could serve the Packers pretty well in the absence of Rodgers, and would certainly do a lot better than Brett Hundley. He doesn't make the same kind of mistakes that Hundley does. Anyways, those are the 4 options I think the Packers have going forward, and obviously Brett Hundley would be the 5th option, just continuing to play him, but really Brett Hundley showed me no significant improvement since the Chicago game. He looked pretty good in the Chicago game, and he had times where he looked good in the Ravens game, but the inexperience is just killer. And I was reading a Journal Sentinel article a few days ago about Brett Hundley's strengths and weaknesses coming out of college, and they're literally the exact same thing now. We're seeing the exact same thing we saw out of Brett Hundley at UCLA. He's pretty good at breaking the pocket, but he always breaks it too early. He's very uncomfortable in the pocket. He's not good at setting his feet. He hesitates. He stares down his receivers. He doesn't normally look past the first option before he starts running, which is a very, very bad trait to have if you're a quarterback. Very, very bad trait to have. He's just inept, really. I mean, he's talented, and I'm sorry to anybody that I led on to believe he was a really good quarterback, a really good option, because I thought that 3 years in this offense would kind of correct those mistakes, and I think that's a failure on the coaching staff's part to be unable to prepare him for a moment like this. But really, I mean, he's not going to get any better. I don't think he is. There's no reason to believe he'd get any better. I mean, he's just looked really, really, really. The offense just doesn't really click with him, and he doesn't really have a lot of chemistry with the receivers either, except for Adams, who he's actually had a good time finding. He has had a tough time finding Jordy Nelson in the games too, but really, with Hundley, you know what you're getting, and it's not that good of a option going forward for the Packers. So, anyways, that's all I have to say about the matter. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, guys. If you have any differing opinions, leave them in the comments section below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.